Good evening, everyone. Doesn't time fly? We've been at this higher education ballot for quite some time now, over a month, and it all comes down to this final week. So please, wherever you're joining from, let us know in the comments. Let us know how long you've been a UCU member. Say hi. I'm really pleased. I am joined tonight once again by Dovrig, who is the chair of our higher education committee and is also our president-elect. Hello, Dovrig. We are going to be talking about how to get those final votes back in the post. I'm also really delighted to be joined by Susie Toole. Susie is from our FE sector and she specifically chairs our further education committee at FEC at the moment. And just this week, we have had some amazing ballot results in FE, the best FE ballot results we have had in 6 years. And Susie is here to inspire us, tell us how those votes were won in FE and how employers are reaching deals in many colleges as a result of our campaign already. So hello. Dovrig, I will start with you if I can. We were here this time last week. What have you picked up in the last 7 days about activity on the ground?
Yeah, I mean, it's a long ballot window, isn't it? It's been week after week, and you would expect to see people feeling tired, flagging, activity dropping off. But I think it's just really great to see members are still engaged. They're still out there. People are still voting. Really importantly, that's why we have the long ballot window. So I spent a little bit of time earlier today phone banking, so ringing around some members. Slightly weird experience, takes me back to working in a call centre sort of 25 years ago, but it was really nice, and I talked to a good variety of members. Actually quite a lot of them saying, yes, I have posted my ballot, which is always like a really nice thing to hear. Obviously, some others who are saying, oh yeah, the pink envelope, where have I put it? And I think appreciated the nudge and the reminder. So yeah, what do you mean? I think we're all getting tired, but we're almost there, and I am really glad that the activity. Do you mean we're still keeping the energy up?
We certainly. Bring me back in. There we go. Sorry. We certainly are keeping the energy up, and I have to agree with you. Whenever I've done phone banking, it's often people just being too busy. It really is a reminder of just what an effort it is to get people to put something in the post. I was also thinking back because obviously we had the FE results this week as well over previous ballots, and I really don't remember a time when the entire union has been backing ballots as much as right now. Like the entirety of our staff in headquarters, I want to give a public thanks to them. We have not only been running a higher education ballot, we've been running a further education ballot. We have been supporting our higher education members who are involved in local redundancy disputes. We've been supporting our prison members. So much activity literally across every part of the union. Strong materials, content, narrative, resources going out to branches. But the truth is, and this is a theme that we return to every week in these lives, is that ballots are won by workplace activity. And I was really pleased to see GTVO initiatives cropping up. I guess my question, Dovrig, would be, we've got a week. What more do you think branches can do in the next week to add to what has already been really excellent work?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question because, time is short now. Ballot closes a week tomorrow, but of course it's a postal, so that means getting it in next Wednesday to be safe, next Thursday if you like to live dangerously. So we need to be really
We
focused.
don't like to live dangerously with the ballots.
No. So Wednesday. So what do you mean? And that means actually less than a week to go. We need to be really, really focused. I mean, I think from a branch rep's point of view, I think you really have to lean on your most active members. Like you will know who they are. They're the people that you can always rely on. They're always on the picket line. They're always out campaigning with you. So do you mean it's time to give them all like one last nudge? Obviously check that they have voted, but you're going to assume that they have. But give them a little to-do list, send them out to chase like the people that are in their department, their bit of the university. Also, matter of really serious urgency is if you are watching this and you realise that you haven't posted your ballot and then you can't find it, you can just about get a replacement ballot. I think it's open until Sunday night, so you can request one. Again, that is living very dangerously. But if there are people that want to vote and they've lost their ballots, remind them. So send something out to everybody in the branch, just with the link to the replacement ballot form. Do that tomorrow if you can, really. And I think the other thing is keep posting stuff, pictures, videos, messages on all your branch social media channels, because that's going to be like the big loud reminder that the clock is ticking. So not just your average, I have voted, but the countdown. So you should really be reminding everybody in your branch that, we've got less than a week really to go digging for those final envelopes, make sure that everybody's getting them in the post ASAP.
Completely. And I'm going to take this opportunity. If you have voted and you haven't clicked on the link to let us know that you voted, please do. Me and Susie were talking just before we came live. The lag between FE members telling us they'd voted and our actual turnout was 20%. And obviously we monitor turnout all the way throughout the ballot, and as accurate a data as possible is very helpful. And as you've said, having good examples is so important, where you can take inspiration from. And we have one in our own union. As I already said, this week we announced a series of ballot results across colleges in England, which when we aggregate those results together, we delivered an over 50% turnout. Absolutely amazing. We haven't managed to do that in FE as long as I've been GS, and obviously the ballot thresholds were only introduced not long beforehand. So it's an absolutely amazing effort. And here to tell us more about the overall New Deal for FE campaign is Susie. Welcome to you Live. Susie, I was thinking, just let's start with your reflections on this week's results.
Absolutely, Joe. Well, thank you for inviting me. First of all, I think the fact that 32 FE branches passed the 50% turnout threshold and many more were very close shows very effective branch mobilisation. A massive amount of effort has gone into making this campaign a success, and it's great to see the hard work that all the reps and UCU staff have paid off for so many branches. I think more broadly, it's testament to the strength of feeling across FE, and I think employers at those branches need to be taking a good hard look at themselves, and they need to be looking at their pay offers, and they need to be prepared to come to the table with meaningful negotiations.
Lovely. That's great. And, let's be honest, organising in this area, it isn't easy, is it? You and I know that in FE. Can you talk us through, because our HE members might not be aware, like how we've built this campaign, just what it's involved?
So look, this campaign has been years in the making, really. It was built from the ground up by branches with excellent guidance from Paul Bridge, our head of FE. It was endorsed through multiple motions that have been passed at Congress and sector conferences. All the way back in May, we ran a member consultation ballot to test the willingness, just to see if members were prepared to strike for an above inflation pay rise, for binding national bargaining, for workload agreements. And we saw an incredible 86.1% said, yes, we are backing this, we are up for this fight. And that provided a really strong mandate for the consultation and fed in the decision to ballot. Obviously, then it was the hard work of getting branches ready for that ballot, getting the word out, cleaning up the membership lists, and getting reps clued up ready for the get the vote out. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm super pleased with the result.
Yeah, me too. And as you say, I think paying credit to Paul and all the other people that have put a lot of effort into the New Deal for FE campaign. And I think it is worth really stressing, like, there's been a lot of what we would call structure tests, hasn't there, throughout the FE campaign over a number of years, which I think, as you say, like, really lets you know where the members are. I know FE is your area, but obviously you're familiar with what's happening in the rest of the union. Do you see any similarities between the situations in FE and HE, Susie?
Yeah, huge similarities. Look, I think even though there are massive differences between our sectors in the way that they are governed, the way that they're funded, the union resources, I think it all comes down to very, very similar root causes, which is pay erosion, huge amounts of workload stress, and the casualisation of the workforce. I don't know a single FE or HE member of staff that I've spoke to over the years that has said, actually, my workload's gotten easier or my pay is keeping up with inflation. It's just not happening. So I think there's some very cross-sector issues that reflect both of us. And I think it's really important to note that our fight is your fight. And, we need to work together on this. It's vice versa. Your fight is our fight is your fight. And it's important that we take that fight to the employers.
Couldn't agree more with that. And I think one of the things we've been saying in our HE ballot campaign is, the government has made so much in the last few months about FE and HE and how central they are to their economic plans and economic growth and literally everything. And yet we are seeing, the funding in FE that we've had is just going to help FE stand still. It's not going to close the pay gaps. It's not going to kind of address the retention crisis. So, yeah, completely agree with you. I was wondering if you could let us know, give us a sense of what it's been like on the ground. What's been the groundwork been like during the ballot?
Look, groundwork is so important. It's the fundamentals of get the vote out. And I think UC reps and regional organisers did heaps of get the vote out work on the ground. You've got the obvious, the posters, the leaflets, the merchandise. Everybody loves a good sticker and a hat and a lanyard. Myself and Paul Bridge and past President Maxine Luby did national online events both before and during the ballot in order to bring branches together. And that really helped to get information out. It provided opportunity for us to ask questions, to share good practice like spider webbing, which has been really important, techniques for tracking votes, to identify any pitfalls and offer up solutions. We had tips and tricks from really experienced branches being shared with newer reps, some of which have never done a ballot before. And I think it really ramped up their confidence, really boosted the energy. And I'm just so proud of the collaboration work that took place and the results that came from it.
Really amazing. As you say, some of our FE branches have not been in a ballot at all before. And really we're starting from a sort of a different position. And we're stressing for our HE members watching, there's usually far fewer branch reps, isn't there, in an FE college branch than you might get in like a HE committee. So really bravo to everybody. I guess if you had some tips on GTVO for our HE branches or, for us in the final week to really get as many votes in as possible, what would they be?
I don't want to teach Granny to suck eggs. I'm sure the reps are working really hard and know what they're doing, but it's just the obvious, double down on the grassroots organising, more door knocking, personal contact, those peer conversations, branch meetings, reminders. I think what really swings it is that personal touch. I know some FE branches during the first and the last week of the ballot had a daily structure. So in the morning, a reminder would go out to all members. At lunchtime, anyone who had any capacity would go and do pester visits to staff rooms, phone banking from the spider webbing. And I think it's really, really important to have a daily update for whatever tracker that you're using to say we are at X% and we're low turnout in X department or in this building. Yeah. Can somebody please volunteer to go and get those vital last minute votes? Organise mass walks to the post box. At lunchtime, we know so many people are carrying their ballot around in their bag, or they kept promising themselves, I'm going to pop it in the post box on the way home. So make an event of it. It really freaks out management to see where are these people going and why have they all got pink envelopes in their hands. I know some branches in FE were implementing a have you voted email that just asked, please react to the email. Just a quick 5 seconds. And I will stop mithering you. If you're not sick to the back teeth of hearing get the vote out in the ballot, then you should be. I think it's really, really a successful way of tracking, and it saves so much time. So I would really recommend that. It takes 2 seconds for somebody just to go done on an email rather than having to go and physically find people. So all those little wins to get you over that line, really, really important.
Do you know what we hear so often? Oh, I don't want to bother people, but that is literally the only way in which you can use it.
It's so necessary.
Can you give us, because a lot of people watching won't be familiar with spider webbing, can you give a really quick outline of it so that people get a sense of what you're talking about?
Quick whistle stop tour of spider webbing. So the people don't have to be on the committee. They don't even have to be really reps or engaged very much. You get 10 people in your branch. Let's say you've got 100 members. I'm sure many of our HE branches have got, huge numbers. All you need to do is get one person who is willing to pester 10 other people. They become their web, and they're the spider within that web. And the only thing you ask them to do, they don't have to do anything else except pester those 10 people and say, look, have you voted? If so, first of all, have you got your ballot? If so, have you posted it? And once they've done that, you feed back to somebody who's in charge of the whole web, the spider controller, which was me at my branch. And they say, yes, this person has voted. They can update whatever tracker you've got. And it's a really, really clear way. We knew to within a couple of votes whether we were over the line or not when we had a ballot, because it's so, so effective. You're not asking them to do anything else. Just please go and have a conversation or text message or email each of these people, these 10 people, just so that we can get the vote over the line. And it's so, so effective.
Yeah, I have to say, I think pester is one of my favourite words in the English language, actually. I love that, Susie. Thank you so much. Any final messages?
Just maintain the buzz. You know, you're on the final straight now. Countdown to the end of the ballot. Maintain that energy. Keep pestering. Love that word. Keep talking to people. Keep getting those votes in. From Effie, we wish you all the best of luck. Effie is with you. Your fight is our fight, and let's take it to the employers.
Oh, thank you, Susie. That is great. Dovrig, what an inspiration. What have you made of our FE campaign, and do you think there are any lessons for HE?
Yeah, I mean, I just loved listening to that, and it is, you know, it makes me like really, really happy that, you know, that was such a solid result out of FE, and I think as both of you mentioned, like we know like life is tough for the union rep wherever you work, but we know that like in FE there are particular challenges, like you mentioned, Joe. It's often like fewer reps doing the work, like management often put like more hurdles in their way. So, you know, delivering a result like this, like, it's not easy, and you know, it's really, really kind of massive credit to everybody that worked really hard for it. And we know, do you mean fundamentally what delivers a result like that? And it's people like Susie, everybody else that has put in the hours, you know, not just to deliver what we heard about this week, not just this week's result, but putting in like the long-term effort to build a branch and organize members over time. And I think that's the thing that's really, really key. Like, do you mean we often think about industrial action in a way that's like quite short-termist? Like we think about, you know, six weeks of balloting followed by 6 months of action. But I think that, you know, the background to the amazing FE result is like, this wasn't delivered in 6 weeks and 6 months, but it's, you know, it's a long-term project, you know, properly kind of building up a head of steam that then gets you over the threshold. So I think that's like the lesson that I'm taking away from all of this.
Do you know who would be very proud of the FE result? Jane McAlevey. When I got elected in 2019, and there was great work being done in FE then, this isn't to say that it wasn't, we had, I think, 7 branches cross the threshold to take part in industrial action in pursuit of better pay. And every year we have increased that number. And obviously we have like built this campaign. So it's understood and it's been built from the branches. And, you know, we have a set goal that we are trying to get towards in FE, which is to essentially rebuild national bargaining in a meaningful way. It's for pay parity, so to close the pay gap, and it's to, you know, reinstate professional autonomy and manageable workloads. And we will get there. The issue is sometimes when you are, yeah, exactly. You have to have milestones because actually the task that you are trying to achieve is so great. So I'm always incredibly proud of all of the staff and our reps that continue to be so dedicated to FE. Okay, next Monday is our final live of this vote. It's the final chance to vote, as you say, Dovrig. We are up against it next week, unless you like to live dangerously, which we don't. It's your weekly time to fire people up. Dovrig, what is your message?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I've been thinking a lot. I mean, I'm a very sort of parochial character. Ask me to talk about something, I'll end up talking about Wales or Bangor. And I have been thinking, do you mean about what's been going on at Bangor? Because, you know, we've had, I don't know, something in the region of 200 redundancies this past academic year. I mean, I've been working at the university for 17 years, and I don't know, it's like 6th time, 7th time maybe that I've gone through like a restructuring like this. And, you know, having just come through it, we got an email from the VC on Tuesday, which told us, you know, it's now done, the restructuring's done, we have secured our financial footing, was his words. but then in exactly the same breath turned around and said, well, but we're also thinking about deferring the pay offer for this year as well. So the paltry kind of 1.4% that's being offered, management saying, well, we're probably not going to pay you that even. Yeah. And you just can't help but feeling that whenever there's something that management want to spend money on, the money's always there. But when it's our pay, do you mean it's always like, oh, I don't think we can afford that? And I just think, enough. Like I've said it before and I'll say it again, like I don't think that we can expect management to start doing the right thing voluntarily. We have got to make them do the right thing. And the way that we are going to do that is by winning the ballot and delivering a result. So, yes, one more of these to go. And I am going to sound like a broken record, but let's get out there chasing every final last vote to make sure that we do what our colleagues in FE managed to do so well, get over the threshold and deliver the result that we need.
Completely. Thank you so much, Dovrig. And thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight to watch. Thank you to Susie for coming along and talking about the FE campaign. All the inspiration we need is right here in front of us. So as we said, this week is incredibly important. Let's leave no ifs, no buts, no maybes. Do not miss a single chance to get the vote out this week. Use your webs, use your networks, pester the hell out of everybody. We can do it, but only if we do it together. So let's get the vote out because we are the university. Good night, everyone.